warm-up lap here at Sebring, my favorite racetrack. We actually can scrub the tires a little bit, leaving the pits. It's so grainy here, and so gritty here, that we can clean them up even before we get to turn 3. We're going to always tap our brake a little bit to put the pads where they belong. Back to third gear for turn 3. A late apex, it's at the end of this curve because we want to compromise the flick back to the right. There's some PVC pipe out there I'm looking at. Now, late apex with the carousel, we're just going to roll it in and squeeze it on down. Have to go to fourth before the bridge. Get into fifth for the, we can find fifth for the Mobile 1 bridge. A little tap of the brake. We're going to warm the brakes up for the hairpin. Back down to third gear, eyes in the corner, trail the brake. A little bit of rotation points the car, and then we can sort of straighten out the second S. But because we hit rumble strips, we're going to turn the brake lights on, put the pads where they belong, our Hawk brake pads. We're going to stretch fourth, run down to about the 3.5. Back to third gear, eyes in, trail the brake for turn 10, and just roll the power in the better this looks. We can run flat out through 11 as long as it's not damp. This is a very polished area. If it's damp, it's slick. About a number 6 pedal for turn 13, eyes in the corner, a little rotation, and roll the power back down. We're now back to flat out. At the end of the curve, there's 70 miles an hour, which means we need to go to fourth gear. We'll run flat out through turn 14. We're going to stretch fourth this first lap. And we'll actually run fourth through turn 16. Squeezing the power back down. We're flat, 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 flat. A little brake, third, eyes in for 16, and roll the power down flat. So we sort of touch the gas and then squeeze it on in, and while we were talking, hit the rev limiter. We got to anticipate going to fourth gear at the exit every time, or we'll be out of rev. Take it to 7,000 at 100 miles an hour. A little tap of the brake. First lap, we're going to brake a little early for 17. We're going to turn into the second set of cones and break it down pretty firm. Get it back into fourth, eyes in the corner. As we trail the brake and go to power, we're down to 62 miles an hour in fourth gear. So ideally, we won't slow quite that much in the middle. I think it should be probably 67. Turn 1, as far right as we can go. A little light squeeze the brake, trail the brake back, bend it in, roll the power in. We're looking for a tinier apex than that. We're flat on the floor, and there's 88 miles an hour at the exit. Brake for 3, back to third, trail the brake, a little bit of rear steer, helps the car, a little flick left, flick right, tap of the brake, trail, let it turn a minute, then roll the power in. Now we're flat. So everything is a patient throttle. Fourth gear, just past the exit, under the bridge right there, we saw right at 80 miles an hour in this car. We'll turn the brake lights on, going to go to fifth gear. Going to brake at the 3 marker, or 3.5, and that didn't work. The minute we went to the brake pedal, the car, there's an undulation there, and when it took the hop, the car went into instant ABS in the full pedal. So we took way too big of a jump there from one lap to the next. We took the optional hairpin, which was one of my favorite corners actually. But a mistimed brake with the hop, with the wheels in the air, we got full ABS. Full hard pedal, didn't want to stop. Trail the brake, feather back, roll the power, and we're flat out. Flat on the floor, flick it back to the left. We're flat on the floor as long as it's dry, up to fourth gear in the corner. Squeeze a little brake for 13, eyes back, trail in, squeeze on the gas. Now we're flat. At the end of the curve, there's our 70 miles an hour. Got to go to fourth gear. Turn 14, flat out. A little brake in fourth gear for 16. Trail in, squeeze on, and flat. squeeze brake, eyes in, trail, turn 16. I'm flat by the apex, therefore we're going to have to go to fourth before the track out, which is 70 miles an hour. At 100, we have to go to fifth gear. We're going to turn in and brake. Pretty easy. We can move that on down. We're looking around the corner, trailing back, picking the throttle up at about 65 miles an hour that time, or at least by our speedometer. Do one more lap. Fifth gear. A little bit of brake, get her down to about, ideally about 80. That's a much better apex. Same speed though. Brake for 3, back to third, trail in, let it turn for a moment. Now we got pretty hard power, a little flick, flick, squeeze, trail, squeeze, and we are flat. Had a little push for a minute, touch the gas a tick too soon, just had to wait on it. Okay, we're going to work on the brake pedal down here. We're going to go back near the 4, see what we can get away with. There we go. Back down to the 4, eyes in the corner, trail the brake and let it turn. Now squeeze on the gas, and we're flat on the floor. Straighten this out. The outside edge of those rumbles are fairly smooth. It's the center that is so rough and abrupt on the car. We're definitely going to take our left foot, tap on the brake a little bit, be sure the pads are where they belong. Turn 10, we can brake just before the 3. Back to third gear, eyes in, trail the brake, roll the power, and we're flat on the floor, floor. Easy upshift to fourth. Little tap of the brake for turn 13. Now for 13, the tower turn, we're going to brake about a 7, trail, and squeeze on the gas. Stay off of that curve. At the exit, there's 69 miles an hour. The curve costs us 1 mile an hour. We'll run flat through 14. A little brake for 15, trail, and squeeze hard. Now we're flat on the floor. A little squeeze and go. Now we're on the floor. A little bit wide of the apex, but we got a real good run out of there. Turn 17, we're going to turn in and then brake this time. There's our 100 miles an hour. We'll bend it in, slow her down some, back to fourth, eyes in the corner. You can't look soon enough for turn 17. Don't park on this side of the pits.